Special moments. Look back on your life and think about what were some of the most special moments you've had and how they've impacted you. I think too many times people look on the bad times and want to focus on the tough times, but I like to think of those special moments. What made me think of this is, as I'm discussing this, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama with Kane. He's playing in the World Cup baseball tournament or something like that. It's a big tournament. And we were driving. It was just me and him. Together 24 hours a day, baby. I love it. If you have kids, it's a must to create this experience, especially if you have a lot of kids, where you can create time and space to be with them singularly alone. And when you were together with each other for hours, the conversations, and I'm a big one on listening to the voice within. And as we're driving to the game, I had a little worship music going in the car, just kind of quiet. He was doing his thing on his phone. And it dawned on me, it's like, do you pray, Kane? Like, do you connect? You know, anytime you go on the mound, are you praying and asking God for strength? So we had a whole talk about it. But there was a moment before I started speaking that I said, well, this ride could be him and I, just quiet, chilling, enjoying the downtime before we get to the game. Let him do his thing and I just chill. Or I could seize this moment to create an experience, a memory, a conversation, perhaps some words of wisdom that I could give him at the age of 14. So, you know, 14 is a very funny age. They really start thinking on their own, for their own, questioning, doubting, challenging. It's awesome. It's awesome. So you got to be present as a parent. You got to be there. It's a pivotal age, I've learned. So we just had an amazing conversation. And I said, you know, Kane, at your age especially, it's such a challenging time because you're questioning life. You really have a mind of your own. You've had experiences in school and education and conversations with other kids that you can really start passing judgment, doubt, use the word why, I don't believe. And I said, probably the ultimate biggest decision you will make in your life is whether or not you're going to believe in God, whether or not you're going to have faith. Think about that. I got faith, man. I still have days where I'm like, come on, man. Is it really, is there someone really there? Is there really this great energy, a person, a thing? What is it? Or is it just silly? Is it just a story? A great story, just like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. I used to believe in Mickey Mouse. What makes God any different? And then as we're on the highway, I pointed out to a tree growing out of a rock side. And Kane, there's intelligence in there. In the clouds that were about to bring some rain, and thunder, and lightning. Where'd that all come from? What created all this? And I said, those are the questions, pal, you're going to have to answer and come to an understanding. You're either going to believe that two rocks slammed together and created a chemical combustion, and all of a sudden intelligence came out of nowhere, and instead of that tree becoming a frog, and instead of the fish becoming a human, and instead of the cloud becoming a horse, and instead of a snake becoming an elephant, things became what they were for a reason. By divine design, through an amazing intelligence that you and I have no control over. Because when we die, we move on. This intelligence still exists, still equates, still helps adapt, and gives life. And that's the beauty of it. And I said, it's like electricity. Do you believe in electricity? He said, well, yeah. I said, why? He goes, well, my phone, I plug it in, it powers up. Well, what's electricity? It's like, it's power. I said, do you really see electricity? Or do you see the expression of electricity? Expression of that power. Expression of that intelligence that was created being put to use. He smiled. You see, this is how my brains worked for years. And I said, son, at some point in my life, when I felt very alone, and I was going through a tough time for years, I had a decision to make. Because I could have become a very bad person. I could have utilized my pain to just let loose and do things that were not congruent with a principled, loving, powerful lifestyle. And what brought me to center was letting go and having faith in the divine and something greater than me, and that all of this around me just isn't an accident. And I'm not an accident. And I'm not responsible for the harm that others have done to me, to themselves that hurt me. Even though I may have called them mom and dad, and I love them and still cry about them to this day at a special moment or a song, because I love them and think about what could have been, what they could have been with better decisions. As a young man, you got to make your decisions. Patted him on the back of the head, let him know I love him, just as I'm going to pat you on the back of the head and say good luck on this journey. And if I could be any value to you to help you, just have a conversation. That's all I say, is have a lot of conversations. It's okay to question. It's okay to doubt. It's okay to not believe, but never stop searching, exploring, asking questions, and having logical conversations. Because you never know when that ultimate spirit will drop into your heart and you wake up and you find pure peace. God bless you. Special Moments, Part 2. Special moments. Every day I wake up, I'm trying to be better. I am being better. About counting my blessings. You know, it's a funny thing. When you get into your 50s, you start thinking different. You're not as invincible as you used to be. So you got to put yourself in a state of grace every single day. As I'm talking to you, I'm in Alabama and I'm on my morning walk. It's bright and early here. One of the special moments I was thinking about is I had a conversation with my daughter, Jamie. She wants to be a professional lacrosse player now. That's her thing. So I like to send her videos of lacrosse drills and people that have excelled at lacrosse. And her screensaver is the Women's World Lacrosse Team. Powerful. And I think about the blessing of being present. I've had to make a decision many years ago, as my business, my practice, my service to others was really thriving, taking care of a lot of people, and it felt good. People started asking me, how many people a week you see? And I would tell them, and they would fall out of their chair, start asking questions. And I felt my ego, felt good, not hiding that. But then as my babies got bigger, started playing soccer and lacrosse, and I'd be at work on a Saturday and they'd have a game. And I'd miss the first half because I was at the office. And I was at the gym early one morning and I realized I had a serious decision to make. Was I going to be that man more known for his thriving business, or the legacy of raising amazing children and a family and keeping us together? Because with that, there were moments where people started calling me. And I would talk to them on the way back from work. They'd be asking me questions about what to do, how to do, needing help. And after a long day at the office, I'd be walking in the house on the phone. My wife would be standing there and I'd put my finger up to say 1 minute. And I'd walk out back and sometimes the conversation turned into 40 more minutes. And I got that look one day like, I looked through the back door, through the glass, and I saw their little bodies moving around and I said, what the heck am I doing? What am I doing? I'm on the phone pouring energy during my family time. I'm in the office while this little baby is running around the soccer field. So I had that moment. I had to make a decision. Wasn't easy, but it is the greatest decision I made in my life. So I decided to start bringing in associate doctors to the office, changing my hours, and being dedicated to not miss my kids' events. And here we are. We've been in practice 20 years, and that's been going on maybe, call it 15, 14 years. That booming practice is an amazing practice, but it's not as big as it would have been. I make a beautiful living, but it's not as big as it would be, or could be, if I'm not there 6 days a week. But the blessing is being able to bring in young doctors and train them, teach them, send them on their way. They buy me freedom to be with my kids. I teach them the principles, and they go start their own practice, their own family. And that's been the cycle. But never missing a game, being on the sidelines to capture the moments, being able to travel as they became part of national teams. And my patients were taken great care of by amazing people. Amazing people. I'm grateful for them all. It's a special moment. But it comes with a decision, the proverbial fork in the road, that we all have to make in our life. And the key is to have mentors in your life that you can mirror. And I've had many mentors. There's still mentors. Many of them are dead. But I saw what they did amazing. And I saw what they did that I believed could be done better. And I had to choose, instead of feeding my ego, to be present with my family and my spouse. Because I did not want to be that guy that was legendary in the profession and lost my family in the process. That I could leave and come to Kane. Baseball in Alabama, he's playing in the World Baseball Championships as we speak. And my patients are in amazing hands, being well taken care of. by someone who really cares about them. It's just not in it for the business or the money, but loves the people, has the same mindset as we do. So as I wake up every day and count my blessings, I realize every single one of us, one of the biggest challenges of the humans that I help out and consult, because I've heard, I've had to of late, create times that I could actually get on the phone with people, carve it out. I've actually had to start charging some people because it became so regular that they felt incongruent and started feeling bad. So now we are dedicating times to help them and really dive into their heart and soul of who they are, to help them become a better human, better father, better mother, better doctor, better social worker, better CEO, better consultant, because we're all the same. Doesn't matter whether we speak English, Italian, Spanish, we're all souls, we're all human. We all have the same trials and tribulations and challenges and decisions to make it life, just at different levels, different educated experiences, but we all have emotions, which are the number one thing, and we all have to make decisions. And sometimes people just have a hard time making a decision, and they're afraid of making the wrong decision. And we just need people in our life to guide us, to help us connect and get quiet, not to give us the answer, but to help us clear the air, get the fog out of our head so that our spirit can connect with us and give us the answer. And the more you follow that principle, life becomes easier, decisions become easier, there's less stress, less anger, and more peace. That's a special moment. Special moments, part 3. All right, y'all, I'm on a roll with the special moments. And one thing that I realized that has really helped me, let me tell you how this stuff drops in. Let's stop for a minute. I'm out walking. It's early in the morning here in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. Beautiful place, beautiful people. And I go on these walks. It's part of my routine. And I get these thoughts, I get these messages, I get these ideas, I have these conversations, I walk around talking to myself. And one of the things I've committed to is anything that drops in big, we're gonna record it. And one of it is creating a dialogue that my great-great-grandchildren will be able to listen to someday, and perhaps drop some wisdom on them early and help wake their ass up. The greatest blessing is my kids raise their children amazing, who then grow up to raise their kids amazing. And they laugh at me and just go, duh, no shit, Grandpa. But what triggered this one now, this morning, I had a conversation with a gentleman. We just kind of started talking. I don't know, he was having a tough time, I could tell. And him and his wife are separated. And he was just like, well, you know how that shit goes. I guess it's my time. He goes, you know what? Maybe I'm better off alone. She's a pain in the ass. She's always on my shit. And I just listened. And I could have been the typical dude and said, yeah, bro, screw her, man. Go out there and go get some, brother. That's not how I operate. So I asked him what the cause of the problem was. He has 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter, who he absolutely loves. He's out here at this tournament with one of his sons. He's from Ohio. I said, hey, my man, listen, do you want to have a real conversation? You want me just to agree with you and be a dude and fist pump and have a beer and talk bullshit? But what's the cause of the problem? Well, here's the deal. He's a very successful businessman. He's owns a big industry, makes a ton of money. He's got a ton of stress, works a lot, makes a lot of decisions in a day, and he's busy. And ultimately feels like he was supposed to be the provider for his family, and that was enough. And along the way, lost the emotional path with his spouse, his wife. And we started talking about it. I started asking questions about how they met, where they met. They met in college, what that was like, how many girls he dated before. Wasn't many. He had a high school sweetheart. As he started talking about his wife, because they weren't divorced, they were on their way to get divorced, I noticed him start smiling. I noticed him start to go from his head down to his sternum, to his heart. And his daughter is around the same age as my older daughter. She's turning 20 this September. I said, were you in the room when she was born? Oh, yeah, man. I said, oh, yeah, man. Why? Your wife's a bitch. He's like, no, man. I said, oh, now she's not? I said, what was it like being in that room? He goes, oh, you know, you got 5 kids. I said, what was it like for you? I know what it's like for me. And he looked down, wiped his brow as he got a little bit of feeling. He said it was awesome. I said, what if your wife died during that moment? What if that baby died during that moment? If the baby died and your wife lived, would you have left her? He said, no way. I said, why? He said, because I love her. I said, hold on a minute. You love her or you loved her? And he said, I got you. I got you. And I said, when that baby came out, man, what did you feel? What's the next thing you did? He goes, man, I went over and kissed my wife's forehead. I said, what happened to that? I got a little choked up like I am now, because I've been there. Men, I've been in the room for 5 births, living births, where I saw Tammy go through 7 hours to 40 hours of labor. That's some powerful shit, man. You don't believe in God, get your wife pregnant, watch what happens in 9 months, stand in that room and watch that baby come out, and now look me in the eye and tell me there's not a God. And I said to this man, do you believe in God? He said, I used to. I said, why are you so fucking angry and lost? You're a multi-millionaire, successful business. You have healthy children, a beautiful wife. Where did it go? He said, I don't know. I just lost it. And I said, that's just it, my man. You lost it, but it's not gone. It's not gone forever. It's still there. I said, you know, marriage isn't easy. Anyone that tells you it is full of shit. It's the toughest business you'll ever engage in. You have to adapt, adjust, change, grow, not become a sap, submissive man, because those guys wake up either alcoholics or just angry. You got to be able to communicate and connect regularly, but you can't lose that loving feeling where it was when you proposed, you dated, you got married, you honeymooned, you birthed children. See, I know that feeling of birthing a dead child, or at least witnessing it, as we lost one at almost 30 weeks. And the only thing we had at that moment was me and Tammy had each other, God. We had our pastor come in as we hold our deceased baby and said a prayer. And at the time we had 4 kids. And that's all we had. And my mother-in-law, my sister, close family. Close, spiritful, faithful, loving tribe of humans that were there for each other. And when you could create that in your life, and then create a standard of not forgetting where you came from. And I said, my man, you lost that feeling because you poured all your feelings and energy into your brick and mortar, your business. At what point have you grown enough in there? Or is it keep going, keep going, keep going? And you get so far ahead of yourself, you look back and your family's miles behind you. The dude got choked up. He said, that's where I'm at. I said, you need to go to your room tonight. Get on your knees and listen and say, God, I'm done. Help me. And I said, you're a tough dude. You're an alpha male. You got to humble yourself. Because if you choose to call your wife and just share your heart, she may something along the lines of continuation of part 3. Phone got hot. Sorry, gang, we got cut off quick there. My phone got hot as I'm walking out here and it shut off. So I said to him, you got to get on your knees and pray and be prepared that it may not be as simple as your wife has years of emotions, rejection, and the stuff that she has to work through. But real love is life's only vital expression, will carry you through this moment. And you just got to keep going back to that moment when you met. For me, it's standing in the delivery room and seeing what she went through. To this day, I don't know how a man could ever treat his wife like shit, to seeing what they went through that. And I understand it's a two-way street. And open communication just keeps that love flowing, because it's not always easy, gang. So, I saw the guy the next day, and he gave me a hug. A hug. And we exchanged numbers, and he wants to keep talking, connecting. He wants to talk weekly. Because he said, look, I know how I am. These are his words. I know how I am. I become the gorilla in the ring. I make decisions. I plow through things. But I don't want to lose my family. He said, but I called my wife last night and I told her all about you. I said, bro, can't do that. And he said, she went online and bought all your books. We're going to read them. She wants me to sit down and meet with our pastor. She's been going to church and he hasn't. He joined a country club and he's got a boys foursome he plays with Sunday mornings. He said, so he's going to start changing the time of that, and he's going to commit to going back to church. And he said, get back to my roots. And I said, you don't have to tell me what you said to her. He said, Steve, it was very simple. He said, Shelly, I love you. I'm sorry. I've been lost, but now I'm found. I love you. I forgot where we came from, but I want you back. And I know it starts with me, and I will do whatever it takes. And he said the phone went silent. And through tears, she said, I love you, baby. I love you. And I look forward to seeing you. And we will be okay. Special moments, guys. If I decided, and each and every one of you have this power and intention inside of you, if you listen to the voice within, that I could have made the choice to look in this man's eyes and say, oh man, this dude's got something going on, or this guy's fucked up, and I could have walked away and just got on with my happy life. But I feel like God put us all, not just Steve, on this planet to love and nurture each other, give love, serve out of our own abundance without attachment to the results. But that takes massive action, having conversations that you never thought you would have, not walking away, and just letting it flow. And when that happens, spirits unite, reconnect, and lives are transformed. Special moments, baby.